coming out. You people need to be thanking your voters. That's the most important thing. People ask you, why do I want to run? What's in the 4th Council District? Why do I want to be a part of it? Well, it's simple. I really think it breaks down to 2 things. The most important thing you can do, sitting on that city council seat, is pass a responsible operation. And I ran it on time. I ran it fiscally responsible. The other second reason to run is the quality of life issues in the 4th District. I've been involved with that over the years, being the president of the Heights Association. People know me in the area, they respect me in the area, they respect that association. A couple of compliments for that association. You see McLean Avenue, how it looks? That's through the Heights Association work with the city. You see that parking lot get teared down in Yonkers Raceway? Earlier, that was working with the Heights Association to get that teared down. We sat with Bob Galtieri and Tim Rooney, asked them to take that down. The flooding that was going on in Yonkers and Kimball Avenue, I'm getting involved, I'm still involved with that day. I reached across the aisle. I am in the process right now, during the campaign, of trying to secure $253,000 from Senator Klein's office so we can put an 84-inch pipe on the Raybrook area. That's the involvement I have in the city. Also, what we have, I reached across the aisle to Senator Klein's office. If anybody's familiar with that area, on Yonkers area, Kimball area, and McLean Avenue, how much graffiti used to be there? The graffiti is no longer there because the Heights Association, as the president, we took the steps to remove that graffiti and get that neighborhood cleaned up. These are some of the things I've done. Also, what I've done in the area is to work with the school system. I met with Mark Twain. I met with the principal. I met with Monsignor Barry and St. Barnabas. I met with Monsignor Gallagher. They know me. I've been involved a number of years over the time frame. I commit to do that on the entire council. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for coming. My name is Mario DeGiorgio, and I've lived in the 4th Council District for nearly 27 years. I'm a businessman, and what I hope to bring to the council is a little bit of balance, okay? I'd like to work with every council member, from the president right up to the mayor's office, and I believe that I also agree that we should turn in a budget on time and a budget that's going to be good for the entire city. Yes, we will be representing the 4th Council District. The 4th Council District is just a small part of a great city. And we have to keep in mind that no matter how important our district is, and our district is the most important, we have to do what's better for the entire city. I bring with me 35 years of business experience. I work down in the South Bronx. I work with the city council down in the South Bronx. I work with the borough president. I've worked with the past 4 borough presidents. I've worked on budgets with the mayor's office. I've worked on budgets with the Bronx borough president. I bring with me a businessman's knowledge. And this is a business. Yonkers is a business. It's not just city. It's not just city politics. It is a business, and we have to operate it and run it as a business. I also hope to bring a sense of a little bit of humor. There's a lot of problems that they can't get along on the council. I've looked at different council meetings, and they don't cross party lines. I will reach across my hand to anybody on the council and try and work with them and try and do the very best job that I could possibly do for you. Thank you.
Conservative and Working Families Party lines. Dennis Shepard is running on the Republican line. John Rubo, who is running on the Independence line, declined the invitation tonight, saying he was no longer actively campaigning.
Well, as you're both businessmen, which we know, and appreciate your efforts in that behalf, I'd like to ask you a question that really is a broad question for the city about some economic matters. How do you perceive the economic relationship between historic preservation and new development in an urban core? Do you believe that historic districts should be preserved in areas that also have potential for new construction? Do you believe that landmark buildings and/or districts can contribute to the economic vitality of a municipality? And how can historic preservation and new development best work together, or is there too much inherent tension and conflict between these two approaches to be successful in urban renewal? And I don't want to just talk about the downtown because I'm happy be happy to extrapolate how you do this for the east side as well, since that is your district. Senator Shepherd first.
There's been a lot of controversy of what the landmark and the development, but it doesn't need to be. It's not all one way or all this way. If I sit on the city council seat, it's a give and take of landmark preservation. Of course I'm in favor of landmark preservation. Of course I'm in landmark historical preservation. But you also have to develop too. You have to have a reasonable business sense to sit across the person and say what's good for the city. I support the development too. So it's a balance. It's no concrete, this is the answer all the time. It's either one way or not and everything. That's the problem that we have in the city. That's the impression that we have out there with the city council and the mayor's office, that it's all this way or it's all that way. You sit across from somebody and you look them in the eye and you say, this is better for the people in Yonkers. This doesn't cost the taxpayers nothing. So you either develop or you preserve that as a landmark. It's on a single basis. You take them individually and you make the proper, mature business decision on them. Thank you.
Let's address one thing very specifically, because I think we can safely say that everyone is, at least in the abstract, in favor of landmarking a beautiful building. But do you believe that a certain level of landmarking can contribute to the economic vitality of the city as well? And how would that happen?
Absolutely. I mean, if you have landmark preservation, if you have a beautiful architectural historic building, it should be preserved and everything. But it's not just a blanket across the board decision to say, yeah, we should landmark all this or we should develop all this area. To give you an idea about development, I'm supportive of development, but I've also sat on the McMansion committee. And the McMansion committee was the boxy houses that we have in the neighborhood. But I sat on that committee with John Larkin and made some tough decisions, and the administration didn't all support the decisions we made, but it was the right things to do for the community. When we sit on the McMansion, we had all the developers saying, let's build anything we want all the time. Then we had the homeowners and taxpayers saying, well, listen, we don't want any development. You have to have a compromise. You have to sit across the table and make the right decisions with each other. So it's not an all or nothing thing. So I sat on that McMansion, and through the efforts, we finally got through it. For 2 years, the city council voted on that finally, to do the proper things. People I answer to are the people in the audience. If they want that landmark or that building preserved, we'll fight for it. And if we want development, and that's the majority of my people, the taxpayers went out there, I'm for the development.
Great, thank you. Frank.
That knows me knows that I am definitely in favor of development, but it has to be smart development. We need the type of development that's going to preserve the look of our waterfront, preserve the look of the surrounding areas, while increasing the value of the properties around proposed development. I work with developers. I work with Related down in New York City, and I was responsible partly for the Gateway project. And we worked on this for years until we came up with an idea how we were going to make that riverfront along the corridor of the New York State Thruway blend in with the rest of the city. Now, obviously, this is the South Bronx, it's not Yonkers, but I would like to bring that type of ideas and that type of knowledge and that type of working with these big developers without compromising our citizens. They have to also like what we want to do. A developer needs to come in before they start a project, and they need to know this is a landmark, and this is a landmark, and this is what we would like to keep, and this is what we would like to preserve. They should know this coming in.